Hello and welcome back to my channel. Today I am going to talk about the 10 concerns of a late start beginner writer. And by that I mean, if you're a beginner writer who has started out later in life, like let's say your 30s or 40s or older, that doesn't mean you can't carve out something of a career in writing, but you likely have some concerns with regards to not starting out at the age of 10 or younger. So in this video, I have set out 10 concerns that you might have if you're starting out as a beginner writer at an older age. And number one probably would be time constraints, wouldn't it? The first concern you might have if you're a beginner writer who started out later in life are probably time constraints. No doubt you have family, work, and other obligations that will all be competing for your time, and they all deserve your respectful attention, particularly your family. There are several ways that you can manage your time constraints. I know from my own experience while working on my first novel, No Remorse, No Regret, I worked 2 jobs while also doing after family. One way is finding little pockets of time during your day, like breaks at work. You are permitted to eat lunch while on the job, I presume. If not, well, find another job, but all that being said is use that time to work on your story while eating. Also, while waiting for an appointment to start at the dentist or doctor's or wherever the case may be, you can use a little notepad or anything like that, or an app on your phone. Another idea would be to get up a little earlier each day and work on the story then, or go to bed a little bit later each night. Just make sure you're still getting your rest so you don't jeopardize your job. You can also make a deal with your life partner and ask your partner to give you a set amount of time each day so you can work on your writing. But in fairness, you will also have to do something for them in return, something that is important to your partner. There is also a really good book that can help you write a book in a month, and that coincidentally is called Book in a Month by Victoria Lynch Schmidt. You can check out the link to my video review of that book in the description. And if you don't like carrying a notebook around, there are any number of apps for your phone that can be used for dictation. I've used the Speech Notes app daily to get my writing done when I wasn't able to get it at the computer. And remember, even if you only manage 500 words a day for your story, you're still doing laps around those who only talk about writing a book one day. With coming up with ways to overcome the challenge of time constraints, you're only limited by your imagination. Gotta take water, sore throat. Anyway, you might also have self-doubt in your ability to do the job of the writer. Well, that is something just about every writer when they're starting out has. Will I ever make it? Will I be able to make a living with my writing? Well, I'm going to tell you, I'm not going to pump your tires like some self-help guru at a speech proclaiming that wherever you are, whoever you are, you can do it. Because there's really no way I can know for sure if you will make it and be the next Stephen King or whoever your favorite author may be. But this I do know you won't find out unless you give it a shot. Would you rather be 5 years older with a published book or without? That's something you'll have to answer for yourself. Simply put, acknowledge and accept the fact that doubts will creep up. In The War of Art by Stephen Pressfield, this is called resistance. And resistance with a capital R, because that is a monster that is trying to rob you of your dreams. Challenge resistance by reminding yourself of your past successes. If you can't think of any, well, then go back to when you were children and when they were first learning to walk. Often they fell on their butts more than they ever succeeded. It was the same for you, wasn't it? I mean, you didn't give up on walking, did you? Or are you still crawling around everywhere? Use that same approach. You will also need to set realistic goals and practice regularly using the tips that I outlined in the first point. There are also many writing groups online and likely on your local community where you can get constructive feedback. Most of these groups don't allow any comments like, well, this is garbage, or allow personal attacks against other members. So it is a safe way to get feedback on your writing as you develop. And if they don't prevent that, then, well, find a different group. And if you're going to show your writing to a family or member or friend, make it someone who will be supportive of your writing and not try and tear you down. Finally, to this point, remember that writing a story, even if it's a short story, is a marathon, not a sprint. Keep going towards your goal. Success is, after all, the progressive realization of a worthy goal. Number 3 is skill development. Another concern you might have is developing the skills for your writing and how you can catch up with people who have been doing it for years. Best piece of advice on that is to run your own race, or don't compare beginning with someone else's middle. That is, your beginning with the other person's middle. Most likely, you will have a difficult time catching up to someone who has been writing for 10 years as compared to your 10 days. If you just started in the last 10 days, that is. But if you wanted to get in better physical condition, would you let not having the body of an action star or professional athlete stop you? No, you wouldn't, or hopefully no, you wouldn't. So why let not having the years of experience of other writers stop you from pursuing your own dream? There's lots of ways to develop your skills through intentional practice, and you would need some resources. Among the best resources for people who are starting later in life with their writing is The Busy Writer's Guides by Marcy Kennedy. This series helps with using one skill at a time to develop, such as showing versus telling, internal dialogue versus external dialogue. Those are just 2 of the skills that this series has, and there are lots more to choose from. And focus on learning one thing at a time as you work on the revisions. Won't leave you overwhelmed thinking, I'm never going to go anywhere with this. And as you learn more, you can bring that into future stories, which will enable you to get a story ready for publication in less and less drafts. Some people say, voice, where did I put it? Oh, well, yeah, finding your voice doesn't mean where'd it go, nor does it mean recovering from laryngitis or anything like that. When it comes to finding your voice for writing, it means that readers will be able to identify your writing as coming from you, even if they don't see your name on the title page. Well, okay, so how do you do that, you're asking, I bet? Well, you continue practicing your writing. Experiment with different styles of writing, either first person, third person, present tense, or past tense. You can also experiment with different genres or try blending genres. Read in your genre and outside of your genre, and do it quite often, preferably daily. This will help you to see what works in each genre and what doesn't. And focus on writing stuff that interests you. It will show in your writing if the story and the topic you are writing about is something that you have a genuine passion for and have knowledge about. Although if you're writing crime fiction, I wouldn't recommend becoming a criminal to write what you know. For that genre, it's best to get advice and feedback from police officers if you know any who are willing to give advice. I was lucky in that because I had 2 or 3 supervisors who were former cops, and they were willing and able to give advice on it. Lucky me, though, eh? You might also have a fear of rejection. Is my writing good enough to publish? Will people like it enough to buy more of your stories in the future? And what rating will people give this story on Amazon or elsewhere? Well, like a lot of other tips, every writer goes through that at some point. Even the biggest names in the publishing world get their share of 1 or 2 star reviews on Amazon and elsewhere. Check out any of your favorite authors on any of the bookstore websites, and you'll find negative reviews of their books as well. Stephen King and J.K. Rowling were both rejected numerous times before someone took a chance on them. I wonder now if those who did reject them invented a machine to kick themselves with or slap themselves in the head. Who knows? I wouldn't be surprised by it. But remember that rejection of your writing is not a rejection of you as a person. It might simply be that your story was not right for them at that time. Concentrate on what you can control, and that is use of rejection as a learning opportunity to improve your craft and use it as a motivation to get even better at writing and make them be the ones who invent the machine that will smack themselves in the face or kick themselves in the butt. Or, well, I'm sure you know what I mean, don't ya? Number 6, financial stability. You might wonder if a writing career is financially stable, or will you be the starving artist cliche. Well, don't quit your day job until after your writing is paying the bills. But to help with financial stability, you've likely heard this before, but it's worth repeating. Diversify your income sources. Don't just rely on ebook sales for your income. Freelance writing is a viable source of income, as is being a paid beta reader, proofreader, or content writer. If you feel so inclined, you can take what you learned on your writing journey and create a paid course. You should also track your expenses to find areas where you can cut back. Use a portion of your income to build an emergency fund of up to 12 months of expenses. Set a portion aside to pay off the taxes when that bill comes due. It's also a good idea before you leave your day job to have as much of your debt paid off as possible. Finally, use some of your income to invest in your own professional development as a writer. There's so much available online in terms of courses, writing craft books, and of course, free YouTube videos. And your next thing that you may have concern about are technology challenges. I mean, everything is just moving so fast and so advanced at almost the speed of light. You're probably thinking, how do I keep up with stuff? Well, to start with, you can use your basic word processing software that you're likely using at the time anyway for the drafting of your book. Other specialized software like ProWriting Aid, Grammarly, or Scrivener, to name 3, are not necessary right off the start. The first 2 can wait until you're just about to send a book to an editor. Then it might be a good idea to invest in that software. Scrivener is a specialized program for writing fiction, and it can wait until you're a little more advanced with your writing, but it also might be a good idea to start saving up for them while you're in the beginning stages, kind of like the financial stability concern you might have had. With regards to social media, the best advice is to pick 1 or 2 platforms to begin with. The one where most of your readers are likely to be hanging out is the best one to go with. And if you're concerned about the publishing platforms, well, Amazon's KDP and other platforms like Kobo or a book aggregator like Draft Digital are all fairly straightforward. You just have to follow the steps as you upload your book. There are also formatting softwares like Atticus, which help you get your book to the proper specifications for both ebook, paperback print, and hardcover print. Cheers again. You may also have health concerns, both physical and mental health. Well, writing is generally not the most dangerous occupation unless you're a journalist in a war zone, or you're sitting in the middle of the traffic on the freeway or wherever else while you're working on your story. Don't do that, obviously. So the best advice for that is to do your regular exercise, something that is fun for you to do, and choose the healthy eating plan that works best for you, regardless of whether it be paleo or keto or whatever. With mental health concerns, if you're feeling overwhelmed with anything at all, it's okay to take a break from your writing and recharge. That way you can come back stronger than before. And there's also counselors online if you need to talk with anyone. You may also have to balancing your passion and practicality as a concern for your late start beginning writing career. You possibly likely have a passion for writing, after all you wouldn't be doing it, that you've just discovered, or you are reawakening this passion. you do have to balance that with the practicality of keeping up with other responsibilities. A lot of that was covered in the first tip on time constraints, but it can be repeated here, just so we're being it into you. Of course, you can't be late for work because you were writing, but you can track your time as to what you do during the day, and you might find pockets of time where you can carve out some writing time. You can also make deals with your family to allow you to have time to do some writing, and then you take over while they do something that is important to them. Break down larger goals into smaller chunks. Take, for example, the annual NaNoWriMo in November each year, where people are challenged to write 50,000 words in a month. Broken down into 30 days, that comes up to 1,667 words per day, or if you want to spread that out over 2 months, it works out to about 833 words per day, give or take. And remember to celebrate your small successes, no matter how small. That doesn't mean to say you should go out and buy a luxury car while finishing a chapter or even a first draft. Maybe might be a good idea to wait until you sell the movie rights to your book before you do anything like that. But you can always celebrate it with a small reward like a new food you've always wanted to try. Make the reward, shall we say, equal to the level of the goal accomplished. And finally, you may be thinking about leaving a legacy. Well, will it leave a legacy after you're gone? Who knows? The only thing that can be guaranteed is that there will be no legacy if you don't give it a shot. But here are some tips on legacy for your writing. Write things that are important to you and resonate with you on a personal level. Make your writing as good as it can possibly be and keep learning and improving. Document your journey. Keep a log or any type of journal that you write down where you got your inspiration from for a story and why you write. You can also include your writing process and how it evolves over time. Connect with your readers on social media and in-person events. And finally, you can teach others by imparting your wisdom and what you learned along the way. I hope all of this helps you with any concerns you have with regards to your writer's journey. Good luck to you all. And don't forget to hit that like button and subscribe to my channel. Make it a great day.